Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today, we're going to talk about Feather, but before we do, I want to give a shout out to one of our faithful patrons, Mr. Nathan Jones. Thank you so much, Nathan. I do appreciate all y'all's support, and if y'all would like to sign up for Patreon, you can go to Patreon/Cure for the Common Game and sign up there. Well, let's get into Feather. See, I was kind of really dreading building this particular deck, because there's already hundreds of decks on EDH Rec for this particular commander. It's been, heavily awaited. They mentioned her in the story, I don't know, over a decade ago. And then we finally got the card, and it turned out to be amazing. But the reason why I was so trepidatious about it was the linear build path. I believe the Commander Cookout guys call it the Zada effect, because there's certain cards that are really good in this deck. And y'all know me, I tried not to use those cards. You will not find in here an Aurelius Fury. You will not find a whole bunch of cards. So I tried to do it different enough, but the style is still the same. So let's get to it. First off, I want to go through as normal with our mana rocks. Now, I don't have a soul ring in here. I did everything I could to keep the mana cost down. And I think soul ring is only useful in just a handful of cards. Yeah, these 5 artifacts I'm about to show you is true, but I didn't want, just a whole bunch of straight colorless mana. Of course, we got Marble Diamond, the Boros Signet, Locket, and Key Rune, and then of course the new Mana Geode. Now, I know that seems like a lot, five rocks there, to where I have so many 1 and 2 drops in the entire deck, but I feel like this deck is going to need a lot of mana each turn. So let's look at our awesome creature base. I did kind of mention Zada. This is the most expensive card in the deck at 4 mana. So it just goes too well with her. If you've got Zada and her, it's just, the blowout potential is so huge. But outside of that, I went Heroic. Now, I am missing the Mythic Heroic guy, because that card is insane, because it's played in like every format. But it's a 1 mana 1/1, and when you cast a spell that targets him, you get a 1/1 soldier. Hey, that's cool. Extra bodies and whatnot, because we don't have a whole lot of creatures in the deck. The Phalanx Leader is amazing. You cast a spell that targets him, and you get a counter on your team, so that's beautiful. The Wingstead Rider it only puts the counter on itself, but it is a flyer. Fabled Hero, same thing, but it has double strike. The Hoplite, cast a spell that targets it, get a 1/1, and you prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. So that's not nothing, The Vanguard of Brimaz, you get another, it's a cat soldier this time, but, the Skyguard, it's a counter, has flying. Then we get into the non-stuff, like, we're casting a ton of instants, so just over and over again. That's the plan, anyway. Gutter Snipe, dealing 2 damage to each opponent every time we do that. And keep in mind, all these instants that we're casting are just going back to our hand, so we're going to do it again next turn. The Dreadhorde Arcanist, yeah, we're going to need to get some of those back. The Spellgorger Weird is, wow, cast a non-creature spell, put a counter on it. So that's actually better than Heroic, because you don't have to target it. This will trigger, and your Heroic guy will trigger if you just target the Heroic guy with whatever. Of course, I have the 10th District Legionnaire, was kind of made for her, Whenever you cast a spell, it's got Heroic, Then Scry 1. And I'll admit this last creature is a cheat. It does absolutely nothing for the theme of the deck, but I love this card, and I felt like I wanted another creature. Something decent but quick. I don't know. It's a conceit, albeit, a healthy one. Anyway, let's look at exactly what we're doing. Now, I've got my targeted spells here in a couple of different categories. So let's look at, normally, after we do the mana solving, I do card draw. So let's look at the card draw. Now, I've only got 6 cards. Yeah, I know that's not a lot. There's some decks that run a whole bunch of it, but if you look at the fact that, like, Crimson Wisp is never going away. Every turn, you're going to target something of yours and draw a card, and then you're going to get the Crimson Wisp back at the end of the turn. So, I mean, how many of these card draw spells do we really need in a deck? Really, in our hand, 1, 2's cool, but beyond that, this is just... That's funny. I almost said this is just 1 mana draw card. But that, even at the bare minimum, that's still pretty good. Psychotic Fury. Now, Feather is multicolor. Given her double strike and drawing a card is not bad. Of course, Expedite's just a 1 mana draw card. It gains haste. Bandage. This is one that I'm not sure if a lot of people would consider. You prevent 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature, and then you draw a card. Or prevent the next, so the damage doesn't have to exist yet. You can just cast Bandage on, and it prevents 1. That may be enough to save it. It may be enough to keep that attacker on the other side, or that burn spell in hand, whatever. But it draws you a card. Of course, then we got Shelter. Protection is, and it targets a creature, so we're probably going to target Feather to, protection and draw a card. Then, of course, we got this monster that she has brought up from bulk boxes everywhere. This Joker, I'm glad I had mine, because, let's face it, it's just been chilling in the Cold Snap binder for, a decade or more. But, yeah, it is an X spell, but you get the delayed card draw, because that's the way they did it back in Ice Age, and that was kind of the Cold Snap shtick was, it's a forgotten Ice Age set. But anyway, yeah, getting plus X is pretty sweet. Now let's look at stuff that doesn't draw you cards. That's pretty much what Scrying's not draw. Pretty close, but it's not draw. And protection from the color of your choice, again, for 1 mana, so that's not bad. Battlefield Promotion, actually, I kind of like this. It gets the counter, so it makes her permanently bigger. Gets it first strike, and you gain 2 life. I'll take that deal. Now, Tandem Tactics is going to fuzz up on us, it looks like. Are we going to, focus in now? There it is. Okay, I like this one simply because you do get to target 2 creatures. Yeah, so you get to target, 2 of your heroic guys. You gain a 2 life. They get a little bigger. This goes back to your hand. This gaining 1 life, gaining 2 life, it seems incidental, like it wouldn't matter, but if you keep doing this every turn, man, that's could lead up to big game. Fist of Anvil. This is just sheer mana for power here. 2 for 4. Yeah. This is a way to close out a game with commander damage real quick. Now, keep in mind, everybody knows what we're doing with Feather. I mean, we're all doing the same thing. We have Glimpse of the Sun God. Hey, check this out. Tap X target creature, scry 1. If Feather's already attacking, it doesn't matter if she's tapped. I mean, because tapping her does not... if she is already declared as an attacker... hold on, is that right? It's not going to remove her from combat if she's already been declared as an attacker. I'm I'm kind of 80-20 on that. I could be wrong. That situation doesn't really come up a whole lot, so I know they tinkered with that rule some years ago, but I'm relatively certain. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Hey, this is a good time to point out. Comment at the bottom. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. But I'm relatively certain, now I think I'm like 70-30, that you can declare her as an attacker and then cast Glimpse of the Sun God, tapping X target creatures, like their entire team, plus her, and then this goes back to your hand. It does not remove her from combat. Or, you know what? I'm talking like she's the only creature we've got. But if we've got one of our Crowan soldiers or whatever, it doesn't matter, because that's the beautiful thing about Feather, is that you don't have to target her. It just targets anyone on your team. So you can tap your sick guy that you just played. Whatevs, you know. And this will still go back to your hand. And it's a repeatable tap down somebody's team. So, yeah, that's what really stood out to me. Hope and Glory. You get to untap them. That also does not remove it from combat. But it's 2 targets here, so double trigger for your heroic. Now, Desperate Stand, I don't know if I'm going to strive it very many times. You know, +2, first strike, vigilance. All those are not bad, but I don't know that I want 4 mana to do it to 2 creatures. Titan Strength, of course, going to give us Scry. Defiant Strike. They actually put this one back in War, so... Oh, this is a draw card. I should have been with the other pile. Red Giant Growth. Check that out. Love it. Planar Chaos, one of my favorite sets because it gave us cards that we didn't ever think we'd get. Kindled Fury. You know, it's just first strike and +1, but it's 1 mana. Thunder Strike. Come on, Thunder Strike. What are we doing? There we go. Thunderstrike. You know, +2 in first strike. Coordinated Assault. 1 mana, but it targets 2 creatures, so that's amazing. I had to do that one. And of course, Mortal's Ardor here. It's 1/1 lifelink. So there's a little bit of life gain there. Now, like I said, they are going to be gunning for Feather. So I know this is weird, and nobody else is probably going to use this, but the first card that came to my mind was Death Ward. Just good old-fashioned Death Ward. Because they stopped hating on Regenerate a while back. Now, granted, there's still a lot of creatures can't regenerate cards. You know, you got Wrath and Damnation and all, you know, a lot of those things. But anymore, a lot of the newer cards don't use that little line. So just, you know, spending 1 mana to regenerate it. Oh, and I get this back. Yeah. Justicar's Portal. Blink her out. She comes back in. She's a new permanent. And Justicar's Portal goes back to the hand. A Johnny's Presence. Here again, probably not striving it. That's a big strive cost, you know, 3. But any number of target creatures gain indestructible. Yeah, and 1/1, sure. Redeem. You just prevent all damage. It would be to up to 2 target creatures. So you get to target 2. That's not bad. Okay. Y'all don't laugh now. Don't laugh. It's righteousness, okay? A few of these cards give her vigilance, and there are times when she'll be sick, or you're not swinging with her for some reason, and people will think they can swing into her with a bigger creature. Righteousness for 1 mana. Yeah. Then, of course, we have Healing Salve. Now, that target player gains 3 life. Yeah, it's probably not that good. And I'll admit, yes, I know there's a Strictly Better in Dominaria that does both. It prevents 3 damage and gains you 3 life. I probably need to be running that, but I'm part raccoon and I love the shiny things. So, and I had a full Healing Salve, and it was in alpha. So yeah. Anyway, Okay, speaking of crazy cards that I probably should not be running, and I'll admit these are 2 slots. I was trying to be, trying to do stuff that everybody likes, or stuff that I like anyway. Angel's Feather and Dragon's Claw. Because you know what? We're going to be casting those spells over and over and over again every single turn. Why not? We don't really have an advantage to use a whole bunch of life, but, how about not dying? That's good for me. I'm running a Library of Lang, mainly because it's what I've got. If I had another Reliquary Tower or Spellbook, they would both be in here because of those 7, draw card spells, because we are going to keep casting those, and if we, hit Zada with them and we draw 7 or 8, cards at a time, we're going to want to hold on to them anyway. Of course, I have Reconnaissance, just to pull her back out of a risky combat. And no, I think I want to save that one till later. That's an awesome card, so we're going to save it till later. Let's get to removal. Now, this is creature removal, just good old-fashioned 2-mana creature removal. It's going to kill, Feather's base stat is what, 3, 4? So she's going to deal 3 to something, and, with the counters and the instants and whatever, probably more. And this is going to, keep coming back to your hand. Now, I have been looking for a deck to put Arcbond in for a while. Choose target creature. Whenever that creature is dealt damage this turn, it deals that much damage to each other creature and player. This is I'm going to equate this card in this deck to a Wrath. This is our board wipe. Because the deck's going to draw some hate. It is. We all know it. And you block with one of your tokens, or even her, it doesn't really matter, because this is going to kill everything on the board, especially if they're swinging at you with a 10-10 or whatever, and you're just going to, Chain to the Rocks. It's a good 1-mana O-Ring, if you will, that's really only playable in Boros. Why not? There's not many advantages to playing Boros, so we might as well take all we can get. I like Fire at Will, especially if you can target one of your creatures with one of those damage, because you get to choose any number of target attacking or blocking creatures. So if you're attacking with Feather, you can do 1 to her and the other 2 to start popping off, I don't know, their blockers, tokens, whatever. Soul's Fire. That's right. Just it's going to any target. So this will hit a walker, it'll hit a player. Solar Blaze. She's not square statted, but it kind of kills all square statted creatures. Then we're going to look at just good old fashioned cheap removal. Yeah. Erase, Smelt, Sword to Plowshare, Demystify, all at 1 mana. That's what I was going for, was absolutely as cheap as possible. Shattering Blow I kind of like, because Shattering Blow exiles. Come on, Shattering Blow. It shattered my lands, apparently. Immolating Glare, it's not bad. It just hits a attacking creature, but And then Afterlife. I like Afterlife because there's not many white cards that say destroy target creature. Yeah, they get a 1/1, so what? You know what? I don't care. I guess all that's left is my one good card in our lands. So let's look at Grapeshot. So if my thinking is correct, we are going to cast a whole bunch of these 1-mana spells, before combat, during combat, whatever, removal, and we're going to cast Grapeshot. Now, Storm, of course, it copies it. The original Grapeshot, I'm going to target one of my dudes. I'm going to target probably Feather, since she can take the 1 damage and not care. So Grapeshot goes back to my hand, and I get all of these Storm copies of Grapeshot to disperse however we want to. And then, all of the cards I use to do all this with are back in my hand for next turn. Now, hand destruction is probably going to be a weak point for the deck. Yeah, if somebody mind twists me, it's good game, But here are the lands I've got for it. Of course, it's 2-color and it's Boros, so Terramorphic and Evolving. I know we're not supposed to use those, but I do because we are heavy basics. Scabland, Needlespire, Battlefield Forge, and of course the common ones, and then the Bounce, and then the last, but certainly not least, the Rogue's Passage to make Feather unblockable, because that's how I actually envision us winning the game with this deck, is through combat damage, or through commander damage. Let's be real. But here again, I think Feather's a one-trick pony. And we're not always getting to pull off that trick, because I think with 300-something decks out, how long has this set been out? Technically, it's been out for sale. I'm recording this Sunday. Sunday at it's 7:24 p.m. right now, so I got to hurry up and get this done and out to y'all. I may wait and upload it till after Game of Thrones, because, can't miss that. But Feather's been out, or the set's been out, came out Friday, so we've had, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? So this is 3 days, and there's already 300-something decks on. Of course, it's hard to quantify that release date as Friday, because ever since they started letting us get our boxes at the pre-release, I'll admit, yeah, I'm a player, and I like to get those boxes as soon, I want to bust packs as soon as I possibly can. But does it make the pre-release feel less special to y'all? Do you even bother showing up on release day? Yeah, it's draft weekend and all. That's a gorgeous Bola Citadel promo that they're offering. Anyway, that's just a random tangent. I'm over 22 minutes. I need to shut up now. But I appreciate all y'all watching, liking, subscribing, especially if you've watched now, and we're 22 minutes and 18 seconds. So, thank you so much. Y'all let me know what you think. And we're going to keep going with this War of the Spark train, because, I'm excited about it. And that's kind of what I've been focusing on building for the past couple weeks. So that's what we're going to do. But right now, I think we're going to shuffle and cut.